Hey, how are you today? So, today, very unusual video from inside. Not that I'm not going outside, I still go outside, of course, but today I was already walking and it was so windy and I couldn't record a video because you wouldn't be able to hear anything. So, I thought today I'll record this from the inside out. From the inside out. um, Well, things are a bit unusual going right now. I think it's evident. And what I want to talk about in this video is what we can really, um, what maybe is the opportunity for us to learn from this current kind of challenge we are inside. Because what I notice around me when I speak to people is that in these times of uncertainty, there's a lot of kind of, fear and doubt in people's mind. What is going to come next? And I think this is a huge opportunity because fear is a very, very um, predominant state for many people. And I noticed this myself in my life that if I don't pay attention, if I'm not conscious, suddenly I find myself in a state of unrest, anxiety, fear. It can sometimes randomly happen, and sometimes, there was an event happening. For example, the other day a client, he was a bit kind of, upset because one of the projects we are working on right now. So that kind of upsetness and anxiety, of course, then kind of swapped over to me because he was very kind of, um, let's say not loud, but a bit hectic, and then you take that in from that conversation, and maybe you notice from your work, from your family and relationship, and then the anxiety and the states from other people, they suddenly kind of transmit onto you. And it all makes sense because if everything like thoughts, emotions is a form of energy, we can imagine this is kind of it doesn't stop with one person. So anyway, um, what I want to say is, if you also notice this in yourself, that maybe right now, or maybe even before that, but now maybe more, you feel increased levels of anxiety and fear, or maybe you just become more conscious of it because what we see today or right now is also that there's less distraction going on because everything is kind of shut down a little bit. There's not so much activities you can do outside. You can't really go shopping, you can't really go to the bar. So there's less distraction, and that also kind of forces us to spend more time with ourselves. And then maybe you realize, hey, this is my internal state, and so let's pay attention to that, because it's a huge opportunity. The first step, if we can see that we have a state of fear, you know, it's not that we need to be a victim of it. There's a way to not control it, but to basically transform it. What if every time you feel fear, you could simply transform it into something else, like an alchemist, transforms metal into gold or whatever. What if you could take your fear and basically transform it into love, gratitude, some elevating emotion? Wouldn't that be amazing? And is it possible? And if you try it out, you'll notice it's definitely possible. And it doesn't really require so much. It really just first requires you to be aware of it, and then once you're aware of it, you can consciously make a decision to transform it. And that really is all it takes, because if you really pay attention to how you feel and your current state, and you notice that the way you feel is not very, it's not very uplifting to you. You feel that because how you feel and how you think, that's also how your energy is. So when you naturally feel that suddenly your thoughts are like, turning negative and maybe um, pessimistic, you most likely also feel that way, and vice versa. So that's also how your energy will be. If you notice that in a certain time when you have, like, if you feel really happy and joyful and grateful, your energy will be completely different than when you feel sad and, depressed. So your whole body feels differently. So we can take charge of that, and it doesn't really require any magic. And I want to challenge you to try this out, because the first step is, to be conscious of it, be aware of it. So in a few moments in a day, it could be when you take a walk, it could be when you take your meal, the moment before you eat, ask yourself, how do I feel right now? And just bring more and more awareness during the day in small moments how you feel. And then you can make a decision if you want to continue to feel like that or not. And now my video has to stop, so I see you next week.